I would like to thank you for your time to join our Zoom meeting with Don Failla. Today, Zoom will be questions and answers. I know that probably you very well understand what does it mean on your life and what is it. If somebody is not familiar with that, please listen once again the presentation that Don did over 1.5 year, all the time, every week. So we have a lot of recordings here to listen on our YouTube channel, First Steps on Your Life. You can check it out or ask me for the links. And today we would like to focus on our right questions, because it's always very difficult for people to ask the right question to the prospect, to the people that we have in our groups, how we should ask them, what we should ask them. I have prepared some question for Don here, and of course I would like to ask you to write your question in the chat, or ask you Don personally after our first part. And we can also discuss a little bit about your questions and your all that stuff that you want to know from Don directly, okay? So let's start from the first question. People usually, before they start acting, should ask themselves what they want to achieve in life, why they want to do it. Did you ask, Don, yourself this question when you started doing network marketing? Why did you start doing network marketing?
Okay. Well, basically, I got started because back like 50 years ago, I owned an international house of pancakes, and I was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I had 35 teenage employees, and I had 3 full days off in 4 years. Oh, you're not translated, correct?
No.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, I had a friend, a person that was a regular customer, that invited me to a meeting. And back in those days, everything was like a weekly hotel meeting, and you'd invite people to it and would hope they'd show up. So that's basically how I got started, which we still teach today. You make a friend, you meet their friends. You make a friend, you meet their friends. But over the years, it has evolved to when we talk to someone, in fact, for many years, I mean, we talked to people about what they wanted, okay? Well, we're trying to make things concise and save time. So you don't have to do that anymore. Because see, we already know what they want. Okay, in America, you know what they want in America? They want to eat 3 meals a day. They can only eat 2 because they can't afford 3. They can't retire anymore because they've already selling their 401ks, which is their investments, and their stocks at losses, so they could have money to eat food and buy gas. Okay. So we just cut to the chase and get right to it. And so we now have what we call the Own Your Life approach, which is really quite simple. It's the first step of a 3-step system. All we have to do is ask someone if they know anybody that would like to own their life. And that's having time, money, and health. Now, I want you to notice that I didn't ask them if they wanted to own their life. Don't do that, okay? Because see, people want you to think they're doing okay. So you've got to use what we call the third-party approach and simply say, hey, do you know anybody that would like to own their life? And if you're talking to people that are getting within 4 or 5 years of retirement, we say, hey, do you know anybody that would like to have an extra $2,000 to $5,000 a month coming to them when they retire? So when you use that third party, then, what most people are going to say is, yeah, me, I would like to. So that's fine. Then you can go on, with the first step in the system. But, what do people want? Young people, 18 to 22. I mean, there are millions of people in network marketing that have children in that age group, and they've never been able to get them into their network marketing program to sell health products. And of course, you already know that we don't look for people to sell anyway, but they have no interest in that. We already know what they want, okay? They want a car or a truck, okay? So all you do is, again, it's a third party. Ask them, hey, do you know anybody that would like to have a new truck in 2 to 3 months? You know, and they'll say, yeah, gosh, you know, they know a lot of people. Say, well, what if I could show you, you know, they'll usually say, yeah, I would like to. Say, well, what if I could show you a presentation that won't take more than 1 minute? Okay, so they could have a new truck in 2 to 3 months. Presentation goes like this. How long would it take you to find 5 people, or excuse me, 10 people that you know that would like to have a new car or truck in 2 to 3 months? And most people are going to say about as long as it would take me to get to my Facebook, okay? So now in most marketing plans, because we don't get into marketing plans here, because we stay neutral, but most marketing plans, if you were to sponsor 10 active people and they sponsored 10, that would give you 100 on your second level. In most marketing plans, that would give them enough money to buy a truck or a car. Now, when those 10, then those 100 get their 10, that's 1,000. Now they can get a luxury car or a truck. And when the 1,000 get 10, that's 10,000. Now they're making more money than both their parents. Okay. Now their parents want to get into network marketing. Okay, I'm gonna let you ask the next question.
The next question is a little bit similar because it's started from how should the right question for the prospect be structured? So you already said that it should be like asking the third part, yes, but should we ask them how much they want to earn?
No, you don't go there, you know, because we already know they want that, you know, but you don't ask them directly anyway. You know, you always do the third party. You know, do you have friends that would like to earn some extra income? You know, something like that nature. And usually the person will say, well, yeah, you know, I would. And then you start with step 1. And of course, if you've already listened to the Zoom training, the 25-minute training, you know, once they say they're interested, then we go to step 2, because if they want to own their life, they have to understand network marketing. And then we coined the phrase, when they understand it, they know how to drive. So all you have to do is remember to ask them, how do you want me to send you the first 5 chapters of the book by print or audio? And that's it. And then, you know, when they read the steps 2 and they understand or they listen to it, then they go to step 3, where my partner will explain how you actually send out the 5 chapters. Now, just so you know, if you have new people here, the book has been, you know, around for 37 years, and it's being virtually updated. There's a lot of things in there antiquated. So it's being updated. So when people get the new app, they're going to get the new edition of the book in both print and audio. And we're hoping to have it ready by the end, by the middle of April, no later than the end of April.
Okay, but I asked you the question regarding the how much money you want to earn, because it's usually a used question in, for example, recruiting somebody, let's say. They always ask, okay, so you would like to work in network marketing, so what is your plan for that? Yes, and they ask how much money you want to earn. I would like to know, because I would like to make a plan for you how to earn that. Is it necessary, or what do you think about this?
Well, first of all, with new people always ask me my #1 recommendation for a new person getting started. And I tell them to get a job if they don't already have a job, because there isn't a network marketing company I know of in the world where you can get started and just from your first month, pay your mortgage, your car payment, all your bills, put food on the table, buy gas. Can't do it. You need a job. Now, there are 2 exceptions to that. One, if you have a spouse that can support the family while you're doing the foundation. So you go to napkin presentation number 4, talks about, your business should look like the biggest building you've ever seen in your life. And that represents huge income, but you can't see the building, and you can't see the income till you do the foundation. And if you're going to do a foundation for a big building, it's got to be deep. And that's why it's called duplication. When you sponsor someone, you take them 3 levels deep. So if you're starting, back before we have, the app and so forth, and technology, we would have like 5 people would be all you could really work with, because that would keep you pretty busy. So, you go 5, 25, 125, and once you got 3 levels deep, they had 155 people. Well, now you're at a point where you start making some interesting money. Not a lot, enough to totally quit your job, but getting close. So if you have a spouse that can support you until you can get there, that's great. Okay. But see, with the way we're teaching the business now, you don't have to spend a lot of time getting started, because it only takes 1 minute for the first step to ask someone about owning their life. And then the tools take over and do all the talking. Now, there is another exception. That would be if you had enough money in the banks saved up that you could live on comfortably for a year or 2 while you're doing the foundation. Too many people get into this business. People make them think they're going to get rich overnight. And let me tell you, if it happens very, very rare, really rare.
Okay, so additional question to that. Sometimes people are involved in network marketing that is completely in sales. And they are in sales and selling and recruiting, and they are not doing this in such a way as you. So when somebody has only that and earning a lot of money in the sales and wants to do correctly network marketing right now because he is so excited about your way and it is more freedom for everybody, so he would like to do this in such a way, is it possible that he will handle this old selling network marketing together with building a new structure with on your life approach, or how do you think?
Well, first of all, the only way you would make money immediately with any network marketing company would be if you were selling your products, okay? So maybe you can make a couple $300 a month, okay? But remember, nobody likes to sell, okay? So the problem there is that every one of these people that you sell your products to, they'll never be a business builder because they don't like to sell. You sold to them and you already made them think it's a selling business. So it just doesn't work. Now, if you want to really understand the difference between sales and network marketing, it's really simple. When you are recruiting, note the word recruiting people to sell, it's like you are a sales manager and those people are working for you. When you are sponsoring, teaching people to duplicate, you are working for them. And as it goes down 3 or more levels deep, it keeps progressively getting stronger. So, the people who are duplicating, once you have, like today now, because we have more time, we can expand our base to 10, okay? So notice that once you have 10 people that are actively building a business, you could go the rest of your life and never, ever sponsor another person. Because see, those 10 people are going to have 10, that's 100 people you can meet. Then 1,000 people to meet, then 10,000. You never run out of people to meet and talk to. People are recruiting people to sell their whole life. They'll be looking for that next person to recruit because nobody sticks around more than a month or 2 because they do not want to sell.
Okay, and what do you think? What is the more important thing we should get to know from prospects for the very beginning?
Well, first of all, you like to find out, if they're ambitious, that would help. But, that goes back to the section on, the gold, silver, and empty ships. Gotta, people gotta want it, and be willing to go for it. And we can teach them how to do it, and because nobody has to do anything except talk to someone about owning their life, and the tools take over. I mean, it's amazing. And I tell people, look at, you could hear my training 10 times, the Zoom training on the 25-minute training about why we don't look for salespeople. Don't think that you're going to go ahead and do that training yourself. Let me tell you the problem with that. When you are talking to a person and you do that training yourself, they are going to think that they're going to have to learn to do what you're doing. Okay. Most people are going to not see themselves doing what you're doing, period. However, if they say, look at, I've got a link to a Zoom training that I'd like you to listen to. It's all recorded. Takes 25 minutes. Listen to that and you'll totally understand how we're doing the business. Let the tools do the talking, because then people, they can all see that it's something that they can do.
So sometimes Jeff said something like that last time, that probably everybody can be successful in network marketing, even if you are a worker, and the same is when you are a born leader, let's say, yes? So the leaders maybe would be able to provide some kind of trainings like you do. However, it's not necessary, because when you are a worker, you can also be very successful in that field of working, yes?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, people, again, people, when they understand, and that's what they understand when they listen to the 25-minute Zoom training, that has nothing to do with selling. Now, you may have already heard this before, but a number of months back, it was on our news in America where they're talking about it. Only 4.7% of the people in America want anything to do with selling. Well, could you imagine? I mean, that you've got such a small market there, people that even want to sell. Okay. And salesmen can be huge in network marketing. I already said this before. If you'll give up sales and learn network marketing.
All right, so the next question is the question from the 45-second presentation. Have you ever thought what it would be like if you blah, blah, blah? A universal question, or should we adopt it to some situation in our lives?
Well, that still works. I mean, once you're talking to them about owning their lives, they're going to see the 45-second presentation, and they'll understand it. I mean, it's just amazing how little there is for someone to learn to start building a business. I mean, you can learn the 1-minute presentation with their own your life and so forth. And if they're interested, you have them read the first 5 chapters of the book, and from there, then, Jeff, my partner, will show them how they can send out the first 5 chapters. Now, why that's important is that before we had the link system and technology, people, for example, they would have sizzle sessions with people. Okay. Normally they were in restaurants, which that's been totally, evolved now to doing Zoom trainings instead. But before we had the book and so forth, we'd have people come for the sizzle session. They would, maybe 3 to 12 people show up, driving 15 minutes to as much as an hour to get there. Some people wouldn't get home till late at night. The spouse was home taking care of the children. And if you did that more than once a week, you were in trouble with your spouse. Well, can you imagine now today, we don't do that anymore. We do it on Zoom. I do 1 to 5 of these a day. I already had one here this morning with one person. Now we have 20. There's no limit to how many people we can have on a Zoom training. I mean, I had one Zoom training last year with 2 of Tony Robbins' translators in Moscow. We had 2,000 Russians on the train, so there's no limit. So can you imagine if you were only doing 1 Zoom training a day, 7 days a week? You could do one on the weekends because it only takes a few minutes, right? Well, can you imagine how much faster you would be growing compared to only doing 1 a week, do 7 a week? That's why now you can expand your base to 10. And of course, when you start multiplying 10, You go 6 levels deep with 10, let me tell you, you are going to be in 2 to 5 years, what took me 25 years to do. And I think most of you've already heard that part where I started with 4 distributors and have 1,400,000. But what some of you may have not heard that, you know, in 25 years, I've actually sold 1 product by accident. Some people were in my home, the product was on the counter in the kitchen. I told them what it was, they wanted to buy it. It's the only thing I ever sold. But last year, I mean, we just finished last year, I did over 150 million in volume. And this year it's going to go over 200 million in volume. Selling 1 product, okay? People, when they understand network marketing, they join and they start buying your products, okay? And they'll see things they want to buy. They're literally selling themselves the product. You don't have to sell it to them. All you do is kind of get your foot in the door and they see where they can start making money and so forth. And all the companies, basically, you have to make a purchase of products to get paid. And this is what I'm going to teach you right now is just probably the most important thing I came across in 50 years and just been using it. You got to, before you show them your vehicle, talk to them about overhead. See, that, you know, what I'm talking about here is the difference between a traditional business and network marketing. See, like right now in America, all these people that can't afford to eat 3 meals a day could not afford a traditional business. See, a traditional business, you know, you've got brick and mortar, you build a building, buy a building, rent a building, you have employees, you've got payroll, and then you've got to get your inventory, keep replacing the inventory. Well, last month I did 140 million, 14 million in volume. I tell you 150 million for the year. Well, all I had to handle was the overhead for me was the order for myself. The company delivers the products to all your people. The company pays all the bonus checks. I have a new woman that joined here a couple months ago. She had a traditional business. She had 66 employees. She had government contracts. And when she heard what I'm going to tell you right now, she couldn't even sleep at night. She heard me say that I did 150 million last year in volume, and I've never, ever had a secretary. Now, my partner did a little research on this, and on a traditional business that does that much volume, they have over 500 employees, okay? So these little things that, you know, we go over before we actually tell them about the vehicle, okay? Because if you start talking about, you know, I don't know how many products your company has, but if you start telling them about more than 2 or 3 or just what they need to qualify, you're done because they think they got to learn about all those products before they can even talk to anybody.
Okay, I have here my question, and I see on the chat that there is some kind of additional question to that topic. So I will expand my question for a while, okay? And here is the question. What question should we ask someone who is unemployed? Is network marketing a good way to earn money?
Yeah, once they get a job. I mean, they're not going to earn, they can't earn enough money if they're unemployed to live, really. I mean, how can you buy food, buy gas, pay your mortgage, your car, your rent payment, your credit card payments, if you don't have a job or income? Because you're not going to have income coming in from network marketing of any substance, you know, in your first month or few.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, you gotta do the foundation of the building before you can start making serious money. And that's at least 3 levels deep with, you know, at least 5, 25, 125. Well, if you can go with the 10 now, which is easy to do, you go 10, 100, 1,000, you're making, you could retire from your job at that point. So I tell people, you don't have to like the job that you need to get, because you have a way out of the tunnel. See, can you imagine the millions of people out there? They don't have a way out. They're stuck for the rest of their life with the job, and they're going to end up broke anyway. So, you know, we've got the answer for them. Network marketing is the answer for millions and millions of people.
So would the poor's, let's say, be successful in network marketing, or it is impossible for them to do this? Because you said that it's necessary to have money somehow, yes, from your savings or from your job. So is it possible, or they will always, let's say, turn to the sales direction, to quick
Well,
money?
if they turn to sales, they definitely will never make it, but
Mm.
for thousands of people, I mean, you hear stories all over the place. People who are living in their car, you know, now they're rich, you know, because they got in it and they stuck with it. That's, you know, that's the key. You got to get in it and stay with it.
You said also that the network marketing lifestyle approach is for everybody. Everybody can do this, and they don't only have to understand that it's not only for poor, yes, for people that have a lack of money. And someone asked here, what about the people that are not poor? These people are doing success. Why focus on the people that have nothing? Not everybody are encouraged to lack of money or success. And people that are doing progress are mostly likely to do progress in MLM also, yes?
Well, first of all, you understand, yeah, you all know there's levels in all of our societies, okay, from the rich all the way up to the very, very rich. And it has to do with a person's credibility. And also, the higher up you go, the more credible these people are. You know, for example, you sponsor a doctor in your business, and he invites some other doctors to take a look at what we're doing and being able to own your life, because most of those doctors don't own their life. I mean, you know, they might have a lot of money, but they don't have time, okay? Very little time. And so it's different levels. So the more credibility people have with their peers, the faster they're going to be able to build their business.
Yeah. I heard also an idea from Jeff, something like that look at this rich ones, yes, they have also dreams. They would like to reach more, even more. So why don't ask them, do you want to have more time, more money, more health, maybe?
There's so much to this. If you're interested, you could ask Adriana to send you the link where I explain about what owning my life has done for my family. Okay. Just give you a little preview of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I own my life, when my two boys were growing up, I had the time, money, and health to 5 days a week drive them 1 hour one way to get their tennis lessons. I could afford to take them to tennis tournaments, etc. They both ended up getting college scholarships. Okay. Greg went to USC. Jessica, you can go to Google and look up Jessica Failla. She's Greg's son, my granddaughter, and she's now a tennis pro. They started teaching her, both her parents, Greg and his wife, Katrina. She's also a tennis pro, teaching pros now. They started her when she was 5 years old. And they worked with her all the way up to getting a college degree at USC. That was $62,000 a year. And she was there for 2 years. And she's a very strong Christian gal, and USC is way too liberal at school. So she got permission to leave, and she ended up going to Ohio State to check that out, because they had the best top tennis player in the country there. And she thought that'd be a good place to have someone like that to practice. So that gal turned pro. So she ended up going to Pepperdine. Now, the person, when she went out to USC, that was on the men's tennis team, who escorted her around, that became an internet romance. And they just got married on my birthday, you know, December 17th. They had internet romance for 5 years. So anyway, she goes to to Pepperdine for 2 years. That was $72,000 a year. Okay, she was injured her junior year, couldn't play. So she got another year of eligibility. So she got a master's degree in the School of Law in Dispute Resolutions, and that was 92,000. And she could do that on the internet because they had night classes with the professor and so forth. And then the COVID hit, canceled the season, so they she got another master's degree. So she got 262,000, 272,000, and 292,000. Folks, add that up. That would not have happened if I didn't own my life. Period. Okay, now Joel, he just turned 18. Okay. Well, when he was 17, he already had his private pilot's license. Now, like in tennis, it's all about, getting points to move up. So eventually you can go to the 4 majors and stuff. To be a pilot, it's about hours you fly. And as you get more hours, you can then do more, like you can become a professional, you can become a commercial pilot, and so forth. Well, Joel, when he started that, after 5 hours of flying, you could take off and land by yourself. It was $125 an hour to rent the plane. Okay. Well, anyway, the goal was, of course, to get to 600 hours, because when you get to 600 hours, then a lot of good things can start happening for you. And he's come up with a niche because, see, he's got a lot of friends and people he's meeting now that are like anywhere from 20 to 28 years old that want to be private pilot's licensed. And they only have maybe, 10, 20 hours of flying. Well, Joel now's already gone over 500 hours. Now, how did he do that? Well, because, see, we bought him his own airplane. And by having his own airplane, I mean, the plane he bought was an older plane, but it only had 70 hours on it. The guy sold it. He never went to market with it, but had a friend who knew Joel. His friend introduced Joel to the guy, and the guy liked Joel, and he sold him the plane. Well, the guy paid $120,000 when he bought the plane. Joel bought it for $70,000. Joel's had it for a year now, and he could sell it for $40,000 more than he paid for it. So Joel goes out and he flies. He's still a senior in high school, and he flies 5 hours every day. He knows all the airports in our whole area out there. He's just out there every day flying, costs him $30 an hour. Well, multiply $30 an hour times 600 hours, and then multiply that by, $200 a day, $200 an hour. Okay, not a day, an hour. Okay, so Joel, he just got signed up in our business because he's finally 18, and he's going to go talk to these people about how they can earn extra money and get to the point where maybe they could afford their own airplane. Okay, Josh, just real quick, when he was in junior college, first year, I talked him into quitting because he wanted to be a photographer, professional photographer. Well, when he turned 21, he was already making $15,000 a month. Okay, pretty good for a 21-year-old. Well, about 7-8 months ago, the top cinematographer in the world had a course on the internet. They had it was $900 to take the course, and at the end of the course, there were 3,000 people that were on the course. They had a little contest where everybody filmed a 5-minute video, and edited it and so forth. Well, Josh won the contest. Why did he win the contest? Because we owned our life. Okay, how did that affect Josh? When he became a professional photographer, we bought him a drone. Those are like $1,200, and a GoPro camera that went with the drone. So he had so much experience, filming. For example, he's also into mountain biking. Can you imagine having your drone flying behind someone going down a mountain around windy mountain roads and filming and editing that? So by winning the contest, he got an $800 camera, and the guy who is the top cinema photographer invited him to go to Dubai for a film shoot. He wasn't going to get paid. It was just, hotel expenses, the whole thing, it was a nice trip. But a month before the trip, he called Josh and said, Josh, instead of going to Dubai, would you rather go to Italy and do a film shoot with us at a military base? And we'll pay you $2,500. Well, that's pretty good income. So they fly him to Italy. First class. Can you imagine how many 25-year-olds are flying first class? So he gets to Italy, they put him up in a luxury hotel next to the military base. His room was $1,200 a night. Most all the filming was done off of a Black Hawk helicopter. So they had him all dressed up in the military uniform, very expensive boots, jacket, the whole thing. Okay. So now catch this. He got to know a 25-year-old, the same age, that had been working with this guy. And that guy knew that Josh lived in California. And he said, oh gosh, that's great. We need someone in California. Okay. So within a month after he got back from that trip, okay, he got a call from the CEO of Disney World with 5 of his key people. And they were interviewing Josh to lead up a group of 100 people to go to all the Disney Worlds in the world to do a documentary. Okay. And then a week later, they had another interview. And a few days after the interview, he got a call from the guy's secretary wanting to know his social security number. And he said, well, why do you need that? He says, because the guys wanted to send you $500 because they learned so much from him. Well, from there, see, it's all about context, you know. And last year he was up in Whistler Mountain in Canada, where they had the top mountain bikers in the world were there. And he did a lot of complimentary film shooting for them. So now they've hired him for next year to come back. And they have 5 major tournaments, 5 parts of the world. And they all last like 5 days long. And they're going to pay his airfare, his hotel, and $800 a day to do that. Okay. All these things happen, you know, because we owned their life. It would have never got rolling if we didn't. So I tell people this because if you have people in your organization, or you know, people have little kids, like, oh, say, you know, 12 years old to 15 years old. Most kids at that age are like maybe in 3, 4, 5 different sports and stuff. Get them to focus on the one they like the best, get them lessons and let them get them practice. And they're guaranteed to get a scholarship when they're ready to go to college. I mean, just so many things can happen in your life. I mean, and another thing too, when you use the own your life approach, a lot of you already heard this, it's like putting a little stone in a person's shoe. You know, when people have a little stone in a shoe, they don't do anything about it, but our stone has the ability to grow. Kid comes home and says, Mom, Dad, can you go to my football, basketball, baseball, whatever game? And you say, well, sorry, son, I got to go to my job. Stone just grew. Get caught in traffic, you come to work late and your boss gets on your case. Stone just grew. A lot of things can make your stone grow. And see, understand, as you become successful, people notice that. They will notice if all of a sudden, you know, you are going on vacation every month. You bought a new car. Okay, you just name it. Women, gosh, most of you know this, but most women will notice when a woman buys a more expensive purse. You know, when all of a sudden you're walking around with a $500,000 purse, gosh, people notice stuff like that. I mean, so, you know, I have people that now, especially because of the inflation and people can't retire anymore, they talked on the news that people are going to work till they're 92 because there's no more retirement. People don't have any money to retire. Okay. So I have people actually call me like days, weeks, months, and years after using this approach, saying, hey, Don, are you still doing that program? That's why how important this Own Your Life is. But Adriana has the Zoom link on that if you ever want to use that.
Okay. Next question. Have you ever asked a question that encouraged someone to action in particular?
No, we just evolved to the Own Your Life. You know, kind of, I might mention this. I had a guy who signed up with me like 25 years ago. And he never sponsored anybody in 25 years, okay? He's a school teacher and he's just recently retired. And I got thinking about, with all the new things we've evolved to, talking to people about the difference between traditional business and network marketing stuff. I thought maybe I might wake this guy up. So I gave him a call. 2 days before I called him, he called Jeff, because what he had done back 25 years ago, he had read everything I had ever done, anything I had ever recorded. He had all that information. And he asked Jeff if, Jeff wanted him to send it to him, which he did. And Jeff, he started listening to some of these recordings and stuff from, well, this goes back, gosh, years, that some of this was done 30 years ago or more. And Jeff got so excited, he called, he said, Don, I've been listening to this stuff. And I thought you did this last month. Because I'm doing the same thing I've been doing, it keeps evolving and getting better, but you just keep doing the same thing and doing it better. Most of these companies out there, because they're not duplicating, they got a different way of doing the business. I've been doing the same way for forever. It works, and you all heard the saying that if something works, you don't need to fix it. You can improve on it, but you don't have to just totally do something different.
Okay, so from another side, what questions should we not ask in network marketing?
Oh dear. I don't give that any thought, tell you the truth.
How much money have you earned?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's when you're talking to your downline. You never ever call your downline and ask them how much they sold last month. That's what sales managers do. You don't do that. What you do, if you want to talk to someone in your downline, you go say the person you want to talk to is like 4 or 5 levels deep. Go to the end of the line, the 5th level down, talk to that person first, then talk to his sponsor. Then talk to his sponsor and work your way up to the one you wanted to talk to. So when you talk to that person, you could have some conversation and they say, oh yeah, I was just talking to so-and-so. Yeah, and then I would talk to so-and-so. And what you're showing this person is that you are working for them. They get excited knowing that. Never ask them how much did they sell. Most companies, you got your back office where it shows your downline and stuff, and you should be able to see how much the person's done. You don't have to ask them.
Okay. Do you have
people ask me all the time, how much money are you making and stuff, and I'd never tell anybody. But first of all, I think it's rude, and first of all, like when you ask someone about how much money they're making, they say, well, gee, I've only been in the business 3 months. And you're asking me how much money I'm making. Would you ask someone in medical school how much they're making after they've been in school 3 months, or an architect 3 months, or any profession 3 months? Wouldn't you wait until they got out of school and let them get a practice going for a couple of years? Then you might ask them how much they're making. But to ask you how much you're making right now, I don't tell people. All I tell people, look, go to failavilla.com and look at my private resort. Okay. I have 2 houses, both 6,000 square feet. One's rented out. Okay. I own my life. I don't have to work. I don't have any mortgages on any of these. They're all paid for. But I never tell anybody how much money I make.
Okay. Do you have any helpful ideas on how to start conversation that can be guided so that we can start to own your life questions?
I don't know if I quite understood that. You want to read?
Do you have any ideas how to start conversation to go directly to that question? Yes. How to?
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Now, understand. Once you understand that has nothing to do with selling, that anybody can do it. Everybody knows everybody can do this business. okay? So don't you meet and talk to some of your friends? Well, while you're talking to them, at some point in the conversation, ask them, hey, you might be able to help me. Would you happen to know anybody that would like to own their life, have time, money, and health? And if it's older people, you might know some people getting close to retirement that would like to have an extra 2,000 to 5,000 a month. You just start a normal conversation, and during the course of the conversation, you ask the third party question. Remember, if you ask them directly, they're going to want you to think they're doing okay.
I can add a situation, description of situation that I had last time about asking the question, because I just have a conversation with my beautician, and we just chatted about different topics like dogs or something like that. And she asked me in one moment that, oh, the weather is so bad outside, yes? Is it cold or not? And I said, oh, I don't care about it's cold or not, because I dream about that I will have a great half-year vacation in the very hot places. So this is not for me to worry about the weather, in fact. Oh yeah, everybody could do this, everybody just dream about this, but how to do this, it's very difficult. And I said, I do something for me additional for my life to reach that kind of goal in my life, yes. So I don't care, I do this every day additionally to my job. So it is for me easy way to reach that kind of good weather every day, yes. And she said, all right, but yeah, but when I will work and I will reach all that money, for example, to travel or something like that, I will have I will be very, very old. And I said, I don't think so that I will be very old, because I would like to do this within 5 years. But how do you have an idea? And it was the point that I started to talk about own your life. And she said in the end, okay, Adriana, could you please send me the training or some information about how to do this easy system? And I said her, just, this was such a nice little conversation, nothing special, nothing about selling. I just share with her some information about what I'm doing, yes, and how I feel this own your life. So this kind of situation happen like that. You will go through every time when you will chat and be more interested in people's life and think about how to pass through all this difficult situation that they have in their lives, and show them the way to solve that problem, yes?
Yeah, it's real simple. You could say, when they ask you what you're doing, you say, I teach people how to own their life. And that means having time, money, and health. And, you got to understand, that person that's working in the beauty shop is standing on their feet all day. Do you really plan on doing this the rest of your life? That's the question.
Yeah.
If you could find a way to do something else or retire early, would you be interested in, taking a look at something I could help you with? This is, keep it simple.
For sure, it is very easy to ask somebody if you have a good connection with that person, yes, because when somebody is from the cold market, let's say, it's very difficult to just 3-4 sentences and asking them the question like a salesman, yes. This is almost impossible to do this correctly.
Well, see, one of the things I like about the way we do the business, because your initial presentation is 1 minute, if the person isn't interested, or, say, I'm not interested, I think that's really exciting, because then I just move on, talk to someone else. Can you imagine the people that are recruiting people to sell, and it takes them days, weeks, and months before these people even try to do the business, because they think they got to learn about all this stuff, right? And then they try it and they realize it's not going to work for them, and then they say no. I'd rather get to know in 1 minute, not in 3 months.
All right. Next question. After a person has been to several Zooms, read your book several times, and when you present your vehicle to them, they tell you that they don't connect with the company or the product. What do you tell them in this situation?
Well, look around, there's 2,000 companies out there.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll find something that they might have an interest in, you know. But see, you gotta understand, for example, you know, I'm not looking for people that are into health, you know, because you've listened to the Zoom training and you know that the market's only about 8% really into it, okay? I'm looking for people who want to own their lives. And if they want to own their lives, they need to get into network marketing, and the business, our overhead is only buying some products, and they'll end up starting with a product, and they've never been in a health food store before in their life. Never taken a health product in their life, but they go ahead and start taking one because they bought it. And they bought it not necessarily because they wanted the product, it's because they wanted to own their life. But once they start with the product and they get a result with it, now they get excited and they start looking at the rest of the things you have, and they'll start trying more. But you know, you don't know, you know, what's going to motivate these people. But I know that, you know, I've got people that started 25 years ago, you know, buying product, and they're not building a business. We didn't know back then, you know, what we know now and so forth. But they order every month, and some of them spend hundreds of dollars a month on products, and you know, a lot of them will replace money you spend at the grocery store. But you know, just I don't know, you know, let me tell you, most excuses that people come up with, 3 words called fear of failure. They're afraid to try. That's why, you know, they'll tell you they don't have time, or, you know, they don't have money, or, you know, all this kind of stuff.
Do you think that there is a plenty of people in the USA to build a very large network marketing company, or is it saturated already?
No, it hasn't even scratched the surface, because you got to remember, like I said, you know, only 4.7% of the people want anything to do with selling. And, you know, when people understand that anybody can do it, we have a market of 95% of supposed to be saturated. You know, one thing too, not to get too religious or anything, but you know, Jesus Christ started how many years ago? I don't think he saturated the market yet.
It's funny. Yeah, so the next question is a little bit similar to that. How to coach people that you have sponsored outside your country?
Well, if your company is in different countries, and there's a particular one there that you would like to go and visit, I'll just go a quick example here how you could do that. Because as you know, to travel abroad and stuff, that costs a lot of money. Well, what if, like, I'm going to use Poland, because we're doing a lot of Zoom training with Polish people. Okay, and you can use Google. Okay, you got to learn to work with Google. You go to Google and you say to Google, how many Polish people live in America? Google will tell you 9.5 million, okay? Then you say, where do the Polish people live in America? Google will tell you Chicago, different cities, and they'll tell you how many people live there. So then you go to Chicago, for example, I mean, Google Chicago and say, how many, I need a ethnic publication for Polish people living in Chicago. Now understand, when you run an ad in an ethnic publication, very inexpensive, okay? I mean, you run an ad in a mainstream media publication that has millions of people getting their paper and stuff, that's going to be very expensive and nobody's going to see it anyway, okay? So here's the little secret. You run a classified ad and something along the line, how would you like to own your life, have time, money, and health, and go visit your relatives and friends in Poland and be able to write it off as a business expense. Now, we had a person that was basically Polish that signed up already with us here a couple months ago. And this happened, she was an accountant, so she understood about the tax write-offs and stuff. So within 2 weeks of her signing up, she actually went to Poland. And she signed up, sponsored people in Poland. Guess what you tell the people in Poland? Hey, if you have any friends in America, your relatives or whatever, I don't know how your tax works in Poland, but it's probably a write-off rate. Okay, now, what happens then when you run that ad, you could get 10 to 40 people that'll respond to it. I want you to know that those are not leads. Leads do not work. People spend 50 to 150 a month buying leads. Do not work. A non-sales type that does that, by the time they talk to 2 people that hang up on them, they're done. These are not leads. They're prospects. See, the difference between a lead and a prospect is the prospect answering your ad, they're answering it because they're looking for more information. So let's say that you start communicating with these people, and the first one that you sign up that understands what we're doing and really gets it and wants to run with it and so forth, just let them have the rest of the prospects. And then you do the same thing in another town in America that's Polish. So say you go to 5 different towns periodically, and you have just 5 people that you sponsored in 5 different towns. Let me tell you, within a year, you'll be extremely rich, okay? Now, here's an important tip. When you run the ad, make sure that they run the ad in English print. Don't let them do it in Polish print, because when you look at the font size of different languages, they're all different. So if all the ads in the publication are Polish and yours is in English, when they open the page, their eye is going to go right to it. Now, what I just described, can you imagine if your company was doing business in Japan? Okay, ask how many Japanese live in America. It'll blow you away. Okay, can you imagine an English ad mixed in with a Japanese ad? Okay, let's look at one more. German. Ask how many Germans live in America. Okay, it's approximately 40 million. All over America, they have what they call German towns. So get the publication that goes out to the people from that German town, get that key person from that one, and then they can start visiting their relatives and friends in Germany. That's all you have to do. Folks, you have no competition doing this, because I'll guarantee you, nobody else has figured this thing out yet.
I have for you also additional idea, because someone asked me, can you give an idea how to start talking with people about network marketing on your life system? Just arrange something like that. Wear a hat with the name, with the on your life here on the top. And everybody who understands English will probably ask you, what is this about? What do you think about this? And also, I tell you that this pin, put it not correctly, but upside down, is also a very good thing, because they will, oh, you have it, turn it right. It should be turned correctly in different direction. So this is the way how Nancy did, yes, and you in the past. Am I right or not?
Adrian, I'm going to tell you guys something that is in the future. Okay, that's going to be huge. Okay, Michael Chang is he's a professional tennis player. He was, okay. When he was 17 years old, he beat Ivan Lendl in the French Open at the age of 17. He became world famous. Okay, and he grew up, with my sons practicing and so forth, and they keep in touch and so forth together. Now, when you get to go to the majors, which are the Australian Open, the French Open on clay, Wimbledon on grass, the US Open, and so forth, you get a player's box. And so you have your family, your coaches and stuff in the player's box. Well, Michael has a brother, Carl, and this has only been his coach, his manager, whatever, but he started a chain of restaurants called Pieology. And what that is pizza places where you make your own pizza, okay? And I don't know, I think he has about 15 of them now. But picture that he's in Michael's player's box and they're all wearing hats that say Pieology. Well, sooner or later, the announcer told everybody what Pieology was. Do you know that went out to millions and millions of people who never knew what Pieology was, but now they do? Can you imagine now, Jessica, my granddaughter, she could be in the top 100 in the nation in a year, but you only have to get to about 200 or so, to get into qualifying. And so she'll have a player's box. So we're in the player's box with our Own Your Life hat. We have about a dozen people there with the Own Your Life hat. They don't have to tell them what it is, because most people with a half of a brain will go to Google and look up Own Your Life. They're all going to find Own Your Life on Google. Okay, we're going to have so many people looking to get into network marketing just from that. It's just going to be incredible, and it won't cost us a penny.
All right, thank you very much for today. This was the last questions, and the hour is already past. And I would like to ask you if you would like the photo with Don. Please turn on your cameras. We will make a photo for the very end.
How do you get everybody on the screen? Because we have people. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people on my screen.
Don't worry, I have them all.
Oh, you got them all. Okay.
All right, so ready, steady. I'm just preparing everything. Okay, so thumbs up and smile, please. Thank you very much.
Hey, Janet, let me remind everybody that this, the way we're doing this now, just once a month, that, by the time next month comes around, people should have seen on YouTube or whatever, or someone sending them the link of the Zoom training. And it's virtually different every time because we have different, a few different people. We got a lot of the same people, but there are always some new people and there's always some new different questions. So you're always learning something new every time.
Yes, this all recordings will be for a while on the YouTube channel, so you can listen it once again. And also the recordings are posted on our Facebook group, Fans of Don Failla. If someone is not over there, please join. If you would like to, I will be very happy. And of course, the next Zoom meeting will be with Don, will be on April 12th. It is Wednesday. At the same time, the same link, the same password. On March 22nd, we will have a Zoom with Jeff. At the same time, the same link. So if you would like to join, I warmly welcome you here. And thank you very much for today. Thank you, Don, for your time, for your precious time. And see you next time.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.